Let's take a look at the page IO latch _sh. And anytime you see a wait type that has an _sh on it, it generally implies it's a shared wait. Where if there's an _ex, it means it's an exclusive wait. So shared waits generally happen when reads are happening or when queries are being run. Exclusive usually happens when there is something that's being changed. So the page IO latch _sh, this happens when SQL Server is waiting to read data pages from disk into memory. And this points out that there is slow IO or insufficient memory. Now, an old saying we used to have is you can fix a whole lot of IO issues with just adding a whole lot of memory. Because what happens in that case is that if your memory is big enough to hold all of your database, well, it doesn't have to go to disk all the time to read things. But if you don't have enough memory, then it's going to disk more often in order to be able to bring in the data that's needed for your queries. So one of the things you can do with this is you can optimize your disk performance. If you have any kind of tiered storage, you can figure out, well, what are the areas, what are the files that are having the slow performance, and can you move those to faster storage? Sometimes it's moving them to a different disk. We saw this related to TempDB recently, where they had the one drive they had TempDB on, or it was a virtual drive, but the one virtual drive that TempDB was on didn't have enough IO allowed to it in order to provide everything that TempDB needed. So we were able to take TempDB and move half of it off to a different disk, thus doubling the amount of IO capacity we had there. And that optimized the disk performance enough that it made a huge impact on the overall system.
So it's like waiting for a slow elevator?
Yes, exactly. And the way you can fix that is just by being in the right place, meaning you don't need the elevator, you're already on the floor you're going to, and that's the equivalent of adding memory, or by adding more elevators, which is sort of the equivalent of adding more disks, or figuring out how to make those elevators run faster, which is the equivalent to optimizing that disk performance. Or another way is to take half the people who need to use that elevator and put them somewhere else, so they don't need to use the elevator, and that's like moving data files around. So yeah, I like that elevator example. Thanks for watching. I'm Steve, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like it, please click the thumbs up icon. And if you want to subscribe, click subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to get notified when we have new videos. All right, have a great day.